Welcome back to Space to Lead, the podcast where grassroots leadership takes centre stage. Leadership gets to be unshakable, and real people lead real change. I'm Gemma Rose Peacock, and this is the Unshakable Leaders 100 series, a celebration of everyday trailblazers who refuse to stay stuck in old leadership moulds. Today, I'm honoured to introduce Stacey Adams, Christchurch-based money coach, longtime social worker, and fierce advocate for women finding their voice around money. Stacey's journey is all about persistence, quiet but powerful leadership, and choosing growth even when doubt showed up. In this episode, you'll hear how a daily mission statement launched her into coaching, why celebrating small wins keeps her aligned, and the lessons she carries from her late mum about impact, legacy, and leading with heart. Let's dive in with Unshakable Leader number 5, Stacey Adams. Well, welcome, Stacey, to the Space to Lead podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome. So the listeners know a bit about you. Can you take a minute to introduce yourself and talk a bit about where you are in the world and what lights you up?
Yeah, awesome. So as Gemma said, I'm Stacey. I live in Christchurch, New Zealand. And funny story, we met a couple of months ago, didn't we, in Bali, but soon found out that we kind of lived in New Zealand. So I am a money coach here in New Zealand and also Christchurch. I also have a social work background, so I've been working in mental health for over 10 years as well. And, you know, what lights me up, I love spending time with my husband, Matt, my nieces and nephews. And I just, I love being able to inspire others and also just really support people on their journey. Like I really kind of do get a kick out of that. And yeah, Matt and I just love to spend time together, whether it's walking, kind of we've introduced playing cards at night. And so, yeah, just kind of
cute.
Where my family is.
Yeah, you've introduced playing cards at night. That's so sweet.
It's come out of the retreat that we did actually, because around connection and just, spending time together. We live in a world now that everything's on social media and we can get a bit addicted to that. And we sort of wanted to make some changes, and like the little changes make the biggest impact.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love how we met in Bali, such a name drop moment.
I know.
But yeah, we were on the CEO week and I just remember swimming up to you in the pool. Sounds very luxe. And discovering that we have a lot in common.
Yes.
So I really appreciate you coming on the podcast and supporting and showing interest in what the Unshakable Leader series is.
Yeah.
And I think you're number 5. So
Oh,
there you go.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So let's talk a bit about your business and what you're here to change.
Yeah, awesome. So can I just talk a little bit about my leadership journey, because I think that's really important.
Yes, start where you want to start. That was one of my questions, but
Yeah.
crack on into it.
Okay, here I am taking over.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of important in terms of what I sort of, where I am
Sure.
at. So I guess I've always sort of identified as a leader and always sort of, put my kind of hand up and could see the best in people. So I went into mental health, and I had kind of come out of my social work degree to start off with, and I just couldn't get a job. And, I had this leader that was in my life actually, and so I did a placement at an organization, and this person really saw the potential in young people. And so she really could foster these people into, along their journey. And so it was her that actually started my career, I guess, because other people just would look at me and think, well, you're just young and it was really hard to actually come out of a social work degree and get a job because I think I was 21 when I got my degree. So people kind of wanted life experience, although, kind of judging a book by its cover. And so this
Mm.
lady then took me on. And so I did my placement, and then she really helped me to try and get a job. And I would go to these interviews and I would kind of come second best, but I just kept going. And that's kind of a part of who I am, is just not giving up. And so I then ended up into working in this organization and kind of moving through different jobs, and kind of establishing myself in there. And so then I got another good leader, and she said to me, what do you want to do past being here? And do you want to move into management? And I said, look, that's kind of important to me. I want to, help in that space. And so I was 25 and I was shoulder tapped to move into a secondment, into a leadership secondment. And I was like, remember it.
Oh.
It was Easter, and I was sitting there and I was like, there's no way that I can kind of do this. Like, no way. And so anyway, I had the weekend to think about it, and I went in there on the Monday, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I was like, if you've got these opportunities in life, you just have to do it.
Yeah,
And
so
so,
can I just pause you there?
yeah,
What was it that shifted for you in terms of what made you go from I can't do this, who am I to do this, to I'm going for it? Because I think that's a really important point.
yes, yeah. So I think the real difference really was, I was like, I had the weekend to think about it, and I was like, I've
Space.
been given this opportunity for a reason, and I can either step up or step down, essentially. And I can go into this journey of transformation, essentially, or I don't. And I knew that the reason why I didn't want to do it was because of my own limiting beliefs,
Mm.
what I thought about myself. And I was like, the only way I'm going to get better or grow is to do it. And so I was like, and also because it was a secondment, that was probably the other part of it. I loved the job that I was doing. And so I knew that if I didn't like it, it didn't really matter, because in 3 months' time, I've given it a go and I could kind of step back.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so it was really about the opportunity, though, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah.
And should I carry on with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So then 3 months kind of happened, and then they were like, the role's coming up. Do you want to apply for it? And then, so I was like, okay. Again, I was like, I've got nothing to lose in this
Mm.
situation. So I applied for it, and ended up getting it. And that sort of led me on to that journey. So for 3 years. But what I learned in that space is, I was like, I was moving from working with clients to now staff members, but not much changed really. You really had to see people for who they were, what their strengths were. And I really wanted to be foster change in terms of, I was the first service manager to be as young as I was. I really needed to gain respect because I felt young, and
Mm.
I was managing a team that was kind of double my age. And so I made sure that, and I really just wanted to make sure that other people's voices were heard. I think a lot of the time in a management space, we think, oh, we're in these leadership roles, but we're not actually hearing what people want. And
Hmm.
then, and that then kind of ends up into conflict, I think. So
Yes.
I tried to really foster change and to hear these people's voices. And then COVID happened, and then that led me into a journey of, okay, I want my next thing now. And that's when I started my business in coaching, because I knew I was good at it. And also, I really just wanted to now work with a different kind of set of people. That started as transformation coaching, that then led into money coaching. And that really came out of doing some kind of deep work around my why, and also just realizing that, money is very taboo. There's a lot of
Mm.
shame around it.
Totally.
Um, but also, money really is about our own self-beliefs, right? And if we can remove all of that and understand where it might be coming from, then we can do something about it, and actually it removes the guilt from ourselves. And so going back to like your question, is that I really want to empower people to feel okay about their financial position and not have a lot of shame, guilt. I want, especially for women, to have a voice when it comes to their finances, and
Mm.
to feel empowered about their choices, and to know that no matter what your situation is, you get to do whatever it is that you'd love to do, and not feel like you can't because of money.
Wow, there's a lot of power in that, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a
Because
lot
I
of
think when
power,
we
a
can,
lot of possibility.
yeah, because when we can break it down, it's like money's not the thing. It's the
No.
beliefs that we carry from, from wherever. And that's not a good or a bad thing. But I think, when I get in front of people and I can have a conversation with them, I get so excited because they leave feeling more empowered. Whereas a lot of people don't talk about money, they don't talk to their partners about it. And it's like, oh, I hope no one even looks in my bank account.
Yeah. So when you made the decision to go into your own coaching business, because you mentioned that you were good at it, so you saw it as a strength.
Yeah.
Um, were there any like whispers or nudges? How did it come about that you just moved into setting up the coaching for yourself?
So I had been working, no, so I'd done some personal development
Oh
with
yeah.
a company, and in my vision statement, it just I had I'm going to be a coach in there. And so I
Oh.
was reading this mission statement daily, and thinking, okay, this is what I want to do. And then COVID happened, and that company had someone that was working for them that was like, I'm going to teach people how to be a coach. And because I'd read my mission statement daily before that, I was like, I'm in.
No
And
brainer.
so, yeah. But then I was like, oh, but I need to probably do all of this extra courses or all of this stuff. And he helped me to kind of set it up, and to just have conversations with people, and, you know, talk to people about what I'm about. And I'd already had my social work, degree that was sort of backing me up. And then within 2 weeks, I'd brought on 5 clients. And I was like,
Woohoo.
great, let's go. And it just kind of started from there. I was also traveling for work. COVID happened. I then spent obviously 6 months not traveling. I really realized that I didn't really want to be doing that as much anymore. I wanted to be at home. And yeah, it kind of that's literally how it started.
Wow. I love that you had a mission statement and read it every
Yeah,
day. Like, that's
I
just
can't
such a
say I don't now.
powerful tool, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, as the leader um, within your business, how do you stay in alignment? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sorry. I was like, is there another part of this question?
Well, there
How
might
do I
have
stay
been,
in
but it didn't come
alignment?
out.
How do I stay in alignment with?
Yeah. How do you stay alignment with your vision? Because I'm thinking about who might be listening to this, and
Yeah,
those people
yeah,
might have experienced times where they've fallen out of alignment, perhaps had an experience with burnout. They might not always have seen themselves as a leader.
yeah,
It might be intermittent that they see their leadership.
yeah, yeah. So one of the cool things I think that Matt, my husband, and I do is every 3 months we look at our finances, we look at our net worth, and we also look at our goals. And then we generally will pick something, whether it's a night away or something different, to celebrate our successes, or the things that we've done in those 3 months. And that really helps us to stay aligned personally
Mm,
and also with the business. Because I think when we look at a year goal, uh, we focus on the big things, but when we focus on the 3 month goal and we look at the things we've done, what it's done for us is it helps you to recognize that those small things are worth celebrating and they make a big impact in helping you move forward. So that's definitely one thing that we do. Also, the other thing is I fall out of alignment all of the time. And I think one of the things that help me is my clients, because I'm learning from them all of the time. And I'm like, okay, cool, right, I want to be better. So, what do I need to do? And also just surrounding yourself with really good people, doing, personal development. That's a big thing for me, is learning, growing. The retreat that we did was a massive thing, because it's really about, stepping up and just doing, like, catching yourself to be better, but small steps. So, like making sure that I prep my breakfast the night before. And sometimes when I don't want to do that, or I haven't been doing it for a while, it's like, no, okay, what can you do that's small that's going to help you towards your vision of where you're sort of going? So I think it's also about being honest. Like, business is hard, like,
Yeah.
and I think you've also got to stay in your own lane. Like, for me, it's been definitely slow and I'm not where I want to be. But I think just keep going, is one step in front of the other, lead you to the next step, I think.
Yeah. So let's pick up on where you said that you're not where you want to be, because what I love about this podcast is, yes, we're showcasing leadership and the different kinds of leaders and the different pathways to leadership.
Yeah.
But what I also love is showcasing what we're working on within our leadership capacity.
Yeah.
Um, and what I mean by that is there anything, any kind of thing specifically that you're working on to develop your own leadership?
So, when I think about it, like, the biggest thing that's held me back is comparing myself to others and not celebrating my success, because I've thought it needed to be here. So,
Yeah.
and I've always thought of that in terms of like a financial amount rather than the growth that you've actually done. Uh, for me at the moment, I'm really wanting to focus on my health. And I'm going through a grief journey at the moment. My mum passed away 1 month ago this week. And so what that's done for me is, like, I've had to create a bit of space for me to
Mm.
really, look after myself. So just trying to make some better choices and also rest where I can, which is just totally different to where I would normally go. Normally I'd be
Mm.
like, right, okay, let's just sit here and pretend to be busy and not necessarily get anywhere. Whereas now I'm more productive because I'm not I know what I'm kind of wanting to achieve and where I want to go, and then creating spaces for uh, rest has been quite important. So, yeah, health is probably the thing that I'm focusing on at the moment.
Yeah, that's your focus. Yeah.
And
Um,
connection is a big thing too, like really wanting to connection with myself
yeah.
uh, is a big thing, and thinking about little times to really up my capacity to like little changes, and one of the things I implemented this year was a Stacey day. So once a month I'll have a day
Yay.
for myself, and it sounds so silly, but what it's allowed me to do and what I've learned from it is that I can say no to other things during the month. And I never used to say no. Like, honestly, I just always say yes. And the Stacey day and not having anything planned, but then choosing what I want to do on that day has made massive impacts in other areas. So it's true. I learned it in the retreat as well, was that little things make a big impact, but they're
Mm.
actually not little, but it feels like it is.
Yeah, I love that. A Stacey day. And that just feels like so boundaried, but very exciting and joyful, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And on
Boundaries
the
are
day I don't
huge,
have
eh?
many, sorry, on the day I don't, like, I remove the rules. Like, so if I want to see
Yeah.
people, I will. I'll do what I kind of want to on that day. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But I
that
think
sounds
that
so nurturing.
it's a big thing because I'm around people. So I also work part time as well as a social worker. So I'm taking on quite a lot,
Mm.
and I think it's allowed me the time to rest and make sure that that's part of my calendar, because I just wasn't getting it, and then that's kind of when burnout happens.
Yes. Yeah, it really does. And
Yeah,
so you talked a bit about having the space, and making the Stacey Day your priority and prioritizing your health and connection. Love that. And what I really want to know more about is your um, experience of empowering leadership within others. So you do that with your clients for the money, but is
yeah.
there any times where you've had to, um, or you've then recognized the leadership in those around you?
I'm really hoping that I'm doing it with my nephews. I've got a
Yeah.
niece as well, but mainly my eldest nephew. Just he's 4, and you know, I want to be a better human every day, so that he looks up to me. And knows that life could be done differently, and that you know I'm someone that he can come and chat to, about anything. So he's someone that I really am hoping that really subtly that's just kind of happening. Um, Also, I guess, with my mum as well, during her kind of journey, as well as just, talking and communicating when she couldn't, essentially,
Mm.
and advocating for her where we could as well. And I think it was you that I was talking to about this. Hey, that you, because it's just in me. I sometimes don't recognize it as my own power, or you know a leadership quality.
Hmm.
Um, and because at times I have been like, well, and that was a big thing when I transitioned down from being a manager to my business. I lost a lot of my identity because I was like holding myself up in a way around this management title. And
Mm.
so that's been a part of it as well. And so going back to what you're saying is that then, yeah, so sometimes it's hard to recognize the change that you're having in other people when you're just kind of being yourself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was me that you were speaking to about that, because you were also saying that you have recently been able to recognize the leadership within other people, especially your mum in her
yeah,
lifetime, um, that you perhaps didn't necessarily see before, and how
yeah,
that's, um, you know, brought a new awareness to your life.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's so
And I
important,
think
hey?
that goes back to, because sometimes we think leaders have to have a title. And so my
Yeah.
mum was very, very quiet, and she she spoke up when she needed to, and when it was important. But growing up, I didn't necessarily see those qualities, if I'm honest. And so when she passed, she was in a rest home and she was getting kind of taken out. They did a guard of honor for her. And this man that we had seen around, like saw him around, but never saw mum talking to him, said, "Can I say a few words?" And he stood at her feet and he just said, "Thank you for everything that you've done for me."
Mm.
And in that moment, I realized leadership isn't about being loud, and it's not about being, here's me. It's about the impact that you make, and that can be done in any way. And so, mum was a nurse, and then 18 months ago, she moved into care, and the rest home really supported her to foster her mission. And so she really went into the caring role in the rest home. She helped people where she could. Obviously, there were
Yeah.
like they needed to keep it safe, but like putting bibs on for people and stuff. And what I realized is, yeah, she would always complain about the food and stuff, or say, this carer needs to do this, and I'd be like, Mum, it's all good. But when I think about it, she was advocating for the people
Was.
in the rest home.
Mhm.
And when this man said that, it touched my heart, because I was like, man, my mum had a big mission and a big legacy, and she was such a leader. But because she was quiet and she never asked for anything, or she never told me about half of the things she did, she didn't need to be recognized. I didn't see it. And that's in the last 4 weeks. I'm like, wow, you can be you're a leader in your life, and we don't need a big title or whatever to be
Mm.
that person. And whoever we are, and what impact starts at home,
It so
as we
does.
know someone that would say that, but it really does. And leadership, legacy, and mission, and all of that can be done any way that you want it to be done. So, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
very special lesson I learned.
it's such a special and important lesson, and it's also such a powerful message because when we think about leadership typically, when we think
Yeah,
about how it's often ingrained in us,
yeah,
when we think of, the 7 steps to leadership or how we're trained, it's not that. It's not what you said. It's not that the leadership is different within everyone and everyone has leadership and they can bring lots of different strengths to being a leader, like your mom being quiet, but not necessarily needing to be loud about it and just getting on with the impact that she wanted to create.
yeah,
There's lots of different connotations to that word leadership, and it often gets misunderstood, and that's why people don't recognize the leadership within them because they don't realize, oh, I'm quiet and I'm mindfully going about my impact, but I'm not that loud person, therefore I'm not a leader.
yeah,
And so I'm really glad that you shared that story because it's exactly what the essence of Space to Lead and the Unshakable Leader is about. It's about showcasing all kinds of leadership and creating space for people who might face different kinds of marginalization or, different experiences where they haven't had the chance to connect with themselves as a leader. But
yeah,
by sharing your story, people will be able to connect with different parts of it and say that, oh, actually, well, a similar experience happened to me. And I didn't think of that person as a leader. I didn't think of myself as one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, big big love to your mama for sharing her leadership within the home because I'm
Yeah,
sure that touched a lot of people in there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day she was dying, we brought two people in to see her, to say goodbye, and it was just so nice. Like, and it's a part of her that I didn't see. Like, yeah, it was so nice.
And how cool that you got to see that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There's an important message in there, and something you'll never forget, I'm sure.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So with that said, let's go back to your power as a leader. Can you share a moment or an experience you had that where you were really in your leadership power and what that looked like and felt like?
Oh gosh, this is. I'm, I'm trying to. I'm trying
Were
to
you
think.
surprised
Yeah.
yourself, perhaps? Sometimes if I frame it a bit differently, um, a time where you really surprised yourself that you all these leadership skills came out in you and you were able to get to where the result you needed?
I remember I was kind of like managing someone, and we kind of needed to manage them out. Um, I won't sort of go into the details and stuff, but I guess I that is playing on my mind because I was proud of the fact that actually you have to have courageous conversations.
Mm,
Sometimes being a leader is about helping people to see their behavior at times, or and to call it out essentially. So
mm,
there was two kind of times in that I sort of needed to step people out of their roles and to support that. And whereas normally I would just not say, like, speaking up has been a big part of my journey. And
mm.
so the fact that I actually led those conversations and, helped them to kind of see, but also in a really development way, really surprised me because normally I would just want to ignore it and then nothing changes if that happens, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's been a big part of my journey is that when I do speak up, when it feels hard, and when I actually do that, you get a different result, but it's so hard to do.
It is so
It's
hard to do,
challenging.
and it's such a common, it's just such a common experience for many, many people.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, with that experience or those experiences of you having to speak up and actually doing it, what helped you get there? What
I
helped you across the line to
So I
speak up?
made sure I planned it, like, so I had an idea of how I was going to go into the meetings and
Mhm.
what my outcome was, what I actually wanted to achieve. And I think, because the thing is we can have great conversations, but leadership is also about having those hard conversations, and we don't necessarily want to have them, right? And I think, but some they just that's part of the journey. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think talking to people where I could about it, making sure that I knew the outcome that I sort of wanted, and then was clear about what that was going to look like, and then involve the other person as much as possible, and make it a nice experience for them as much as it could be.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And so that brings me to think about the title of this series being the Unshakable Leader, right?
Yeah,
And what I mean by that, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before, but what I mean by that is if we're unshakable in our leadership, if we've got the capacity to deliver solid boundaries, to communicate in the tough times and also effectively, um, to be intuitively guided to make those decisions, all those kind of skills. There's many more, but then we can be unshakable in our leadership and realign when
yeah,
necessarily instead of waiting, like you said, and nothing ever happens.
yeah.
So, what I want to know from you, though, is what you feel being an unshakable leader is for you.
Powerful question.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's getting to a place. I don't think I'm there yet, but it is about being in alignment with yourself and being able to have conversations where you might be going against the grain of whatever the situation is, and feeling comfortable, confident, and powerful, and being able to do that.
Mm,
And I think in terms of being unshakable, you always need to know where you're going, I think, is
Mm-hmm.
important for me. And that's always helped. And the other part of it is always just doing one step in front of the other. And if you get it wrong, you're learning from it. And I think I've always been quite good at that, is that I'll always hold like the longevity, and I'll just do it. And if it doesn't work, I'll learn something from it. And if it does, then fantastic. But I don't really give up very easily. And I think that helps because we're going like this. There are so many
Mm-hmm.
ups and downs of life, and just getting back on the horse essentially
Yeah.
is what helps me to kind of be unshakable, I think, and
Yeah.
just doing it,
Just doing
doing
it. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hard stuff anyway, Yeah,
Exactly. And so I just want to pick up on briefly something you said earlier when you said that you feel like you're not quite there yet. And I just wanted to offer my perspective because I totally see the unshakable leader within you in terms of you being impact focused, like your mission that you mentioned earlier, and
yeah,
also the unshakable parts of the Stacey I saw in Bali who took
yeah,
on those challenges and had your experiences with those and you didn't back out, you know?
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So you're definitely awarded the Unshakable Leader #5 title.
uh Thank you, yay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was
That's
a
awesome.
it was a great experience out there. A tough one, but a great one.
I
So
know. Should I quickly talk about
yeah,
my
yeah, go for
speaking
it.
up? So that was a big thing that I learned. Hey, we were on these ATVs, and this um, lady that was on our retreat was in front of me, and it became clear that it might have been a bit of a challenge. And again, I was like, I knew I could feel it, and I didn't say anything. And
Mm,
anyway, cut a long story short, she rolled and fell off, and she ended up being okay, thank goodness. But the lesson that I learned is that you do have to speak up, and because not everyone can see things, and I could see it, I could feel it. Uh, and sometimes we just have to do that. And man, that has stuck in my head since we've got back, because I just need to speak if I see it. is the
yeah, so
is the
that's
motto.
driving you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so when you say you could feel it, where could you feel it?
I could feel that in myself. Like, I could feel
Yeah.
that I was a little bit uneasy, that something just wasn't sitting right, that I was getting this wee nudge to be like, ask this person, are you feeling confident? Are you okay? And and then how either they responded would be how they respond. But I was like, oh no, you better not do that. You know, they're having fun, and all of these stuff started to go through my head, you know. But sometimes we need to point things out in order to
Hmm.
help someone, because
Yeah.
that could have been a really different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been, but luckily it wasn't.
What? No.
And and
Yeah.
what I love about that story is the power of your intuition. When you
Yeah.
came back and told me that story, because I missed out on that ATV, I wasn't well. Did I hurt my legs
Oh,
or
that's
something?
right. No, you had a
Yeah.
sort of tummy and stuff too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that week was intense. Yeah.
That was the
I was
start.
sunburnt, had a sore stomach at points, and then couldn't walk.
Yeah. Yeah. God.
But anyway, that's a story for another time. Um, but my focus here is on your intuition, that
Yeah.
nudge, because it's
Yeah.
such an important message and skill. We all have those feelings where we feel uneasy or there's a feeling in our stomach or in our chest or wherever it is for you.
Yeah.
And what do? We suppress it
Yeah.
because, multiple reasons why. But the point is, following through on those nudges and trusting in them
Yeah.
is what is also leads to being unshakable in our leadership, in my opinion, you know?
Well, totally, because then the leader, the person running it, was like, "I can see it on your face. What's wrong?" I was like, "No, nothing, nothing." And then that night, I went to Matt and was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is sort of how I saw it play out." And then in the morning, we were able to debrief it, and he was like, "I could see it on your face, but I just didn't say anything." And once it was helped to point it out, it was like, and I just stick in that now. And whenever I feel like I need to, something's in here, I just talk now, no matter what it
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
impactful. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So if people walk away with one thing, and I always say people walk away with many things because that's the feedback we get. But if people walk away with one thing from your story or what you shared today, what would you like that to be?
Don't give up and don't compare yourself to someone else's story. Yours is unique and it's yours, and only you know what you've been through. But don't give up no matter what it is that you're working towards.
Oof, listen to that. Hey, unshakable.
Keep going. Yeah.
And so, where can people find you if they want to connect, send you a message, or look up what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Stacey Money Coach on Instagram, Stacey Adams Coach on Facebook, and we can also link my website to this as well.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
I'll put all the links in the show notes.
yeah, cool. And then yeah, message me. Happy to chat. Always love meeting new people. So yeah, let's be unshakable all together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks so much, Stacey, for sharing your message and for bringing your mama into the conversation as well. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for holding this space, and can't wait to connect again.
Yeah, cool.